Thank you, Chairman Sir. I understand I have got 12 minutes. I have got 24 slides, so I'll try to squeeze it within 20 seconds each. I know, I think Chairman Sir during introduction did mention about the two applications which I'm going to talk about here. The Lifelines India, which has been running for the last 3 years. I had spoken about it in many forums, so it may be repetition, so I'll be going quite faster there. Stop me if you want to stop me at a point of time. Very brief about OneWorld. This is an international non-profit, which I keep telling my friends in the business sector, saying that we work on technology where business interests would not go. But there are consumers of technology there, and that's where we try to work. We are a global network having 12 centers. I look after the South Asia region and also run the International Secretariat. We primarily focus on these three areas. Developing ICT-based knowledge services, which I'm going to talk today. Create appropriate and new technology tools. I mean, one of our key issues is not create technologies, but create affordable technologies. That's what we focus on. And we try to facilitate knowledge connectivity in development and use NDG as the framework for that. I won't spend much time on this. This is a fairly well-known bullet points about what kind of real e-services is possible. Our focus has been primarily on livelihoods knowledge service. That's what we work on. And this is one of the applications on livelihoods knowledge services. It's primarily initiated for area farmers. It has gone to other sectors, so I'll talk about it. It's a telephony-based. It's a telephony-based applications where personalized advisory on demand are provided to the farmer. I heard Professor Narula in the analysis of the research indicated that you need to provide contextual information on demand, and that's what this service tries to do. It tries to create mitigating framework for barriers which Rajshekar did mention about connectivity. It's about language and literacy, and we said let's change the rule of the game, and instead of going to web, let's use web as a vehicle, but let's use phone as the first mile of connectivity. That's what it tries to do. It's a very, very high-end technology backend. It was quite ahead of time when we created. We had problem of no hosting service in this country was ready to host it. We had to go to TRAI to get an advisory saying that we are not violating law of VoIP and telephony, and that's how we got hosting done. So it's a fairly high-end technology which we pushed to the back end and provided the knowledge access through telephone. We designed it for both fixed line as mobile telephone, but today 95% of the users actually access the service through mobile telephony, which then therefore we upgraded subsequently. It currently runs in 2,000 villages in 4 states of the country, North and Central India, MP, UP, Himachal, and a small and very, very deprived pocket of Haryana. This is the Mewat region. It also runs then a variant of that started functioning 18 months back on education. It serves knowledge advisory service to teachers. These are rural school teachers in 2 states, West Bengal and Rajasthan. And the other attractive bit of the service is that it co-creates knowledge. As the farmers or the teachers queries a service, the knowledge gets co-creation. So that's one of the uniqueness of the service. I talked about this. Let me skip. This is the kind of geographic spread. This is the process framework. It's not much of it's not only technology. That the technology box is at the center, which has got a mix of IVRS, voice gateway, unified messaging server, web server, and all that kind of database server and integrated mail server based into that. But then the more important part is the process tailored to that technology. When a farmer calls up, the calls gets recorded automatically through IVRS straight away to knowledge database. It runs on Oracle 10i today, and the farmer gets a ID number. The moment the call gets recorded, there are people at the back end, kind of call center executive you can think about, but they are different because they are all qualified, reasonably qualified professional. We actually use agricultural graduates who listens to the call, tries to understand what the problem is, and tries to find a response which is, if it is available on the knowledge database. I did mention that as of now the knowledge database is now at 270,000 queries. When we started it was 1,000. And so invariably the query used to, the answer to the query is not available on the knowledge database. That time it goes to the expert. It's almost I could see the similarity in the Agropedia knowledge model. It goes to the expert, the response comes back. Both the query and the responses are provided for the farmer to pick up when he calls next, when he or she calls next. At the same time, they go to the knowledge database. That's how, as we keep servicing, the knowledge database get enriched. That's how from 1,000 we now have moved to 270,000. And today 60%. Well, a little more than 60% queries actually gets responded from the knowledge database. That's the reuse of the knowledge pattern. There's an interesting quasi-semantic search implementation has been built inside, and I would like to talk bilaterally a lot on Agropedia. This is the technology infrastructure. I can talk it later. And this is the growth part. I mean, I'm very proud, or we rather are very proud of the growth part of this service. And please note it's paid service. I heard Professor Narula saying that farmers are ready to pay. Yes, our experience of last 2 years indicate they are ready to pay as long as the value of the knowledge provided to them are higher than what they are paying for. Example, when we started, we didn't know what to charge because we didn't know whether farmers would be ready to pay or not. We arbitrarily fixed 5 rupees. Today we have actually moved it from 5 to 10 rupees and still get more than 450 calls every day. So that kind of use is a paid service. So it's not about technology. It's not about having very sophisticated thing. It's about providing knowledge on demand which caters to her or his need. And once again, if I analyze the query pattern, same thing I could hear the Professor Narula said, it's not about generic information. No one asked. I mean, they have been doing it for years or centuries. It's about problem, and the problem needs to be responded to. And therefore, you can see, because of the geography where we work, there are hardly any query on fishery. Because fishery is not a prime area. Many of the areas where we work, horticulture is a high value cropping, and it's also high risk. Therefore, many queries do keep coming from horticulture. Kind of statistics. If you see, this is April-June. Plant pathology accounts for the maximum number of incoming queries. And in terms of agri-related, it's beyond agriculture. For example, animal husbandry also forms a sizable number of queries. Some statistics of the benefit, I can talk at length about that, but I just want to cite the number 25% down below. Year-on-year basis, the farmer, because we do have a mechanism of assessing impact. It's not about people calling and queries coming to the system, whether it's contributing to the developmental need on the ground, and that's where we do have a mechanism of monitoring, both at the satisfaction level, which is the curve out there, as well as the productivity and income growth after every cropping cycle. And it's very interesting statistics. The villages where we go first time, the productivity rises around 40% to 60%, but year-on-year basis, it's still around 23% to 25%, which in terms of absolute number is not great. If a farmer is actually producing a crop of 50,000 rupees, it's not great, but for a farmer's household, in terms of its double and triple bottom line, it's a significant value addition. It has got a lot of national and international recognition. One of the most proud moment we had then last year when Lifelines was considered as one of the 25 tech laureates of the world by Technetium, which was probably one of our most proudest moments. The domain neutrality is another aspect of the service, and therefore the technology platform could be, I won't say replicated, it's actually adapted to other sector. A service is already running on education, which provide academic support services to farmers. It's around 14,000, teachers. It's around 14,000 teachers in West Bengal and also in Rajasthan. One reason why we went to two different locations is because teachers' service is not economic activity. It's a public goods. So the model operates slightly differently there, and we wanted to see how the model operates in very many different states. We have been talking to National Rural Employment Guarantee Authority to improve citizens' engagement using a similar kind of mechanism where a rural potential ANREGA worker, when he doesn't get a job card or doesn't get jobs, there's a query redressal mechanism needs to be worked out. Current mechanism, the ministry agrees, does not cater to the need because of the power structures at various levels. So there is a technology-oriented model being looked at. It has been formally adopted now in 20th of August when this kind of model being proposed by the Honorable Minister in the ANREGA strategy workshop in Delhi. Based on this learning, we have started working on an key area of climate change. It's not about mitigation, it's not about raising flags on the road, it's actually helping people adapt to the changes. We all know, people keep talking about drought in this country, but actually we don't recognize the rainfall pattern had changed. The rainfall has differed by 4 weeks. It happened last year, it's happening this year. So there is an adaptation need on the grassroots which needs to be addressed, and this learning came actually from our analysis of query pattern of Lifelines. Around 10-15% queries we can broadly relate to climate change, and that's the time we started working on helping community to adapt to providing knowledge services to help cope with the changes. And this is what we try to create. It's called vugyan.net. It's basically a climate knowledge platform. It's an integrated knowledge service for adapting to climate variability risk. It has got a web platform, but it's much more using mobile. It's an open architecture where a mobile can interrogate a database and can render the database on a mobile platform. There's the snapshot of the site. You can go to the site and see more detail. This is the technology architecture, underlying technology architecture, where we say there's a multi-format, multimodal content exchange, and a large amount of content access would be through mobile, largely through SMS. There's also inbuilt knowledge architecture. I could actually see a lot of eco and agropedia model, and I would actually like to talk in terms of, because we have deployed taxonomical layer on the knowledge architecture to make it work. Otherwise, simply sending a mobile SMS and getting a response back, we need to fetch the most appropriate response back from the mechanism. So we actually had a underlying taxonomy architecture, which is actually built on this matrix of knowledge architecture, where we're talking about scientific, participatory, and indigenous knowledge across various sectors, and building on this four themes: social, economic, regional, and bioclimatic zone themes. So this is a knowledge architecture on which we have created this kind of what we call climate mobile, where a grassroots community can send an SMS, which through a computer can actually access the direct FAQ database. We have been trying to do it for last 2 years. There was a major problem of what I call closed architecture of mobile telephone operators. So what we try to do is that we finally managed to bypass the closeness of the mobile telecom operators and have mechanisms where a mobile phone, which is like around 2,000 rupees mobile phone, which with just an USB port can be connected to this machine, and if the machine has got access to internet, the mobile service can operate. So that kind of a system we try to do it. We try to do it at a lowest common denominator basis so that it can be actually deployed for the grassroots communities. I would not say it's really final. It's a work in progress product. In this forum, I actually would welcome People's Association to come and enhance the work. There's a kind of simple taxonomical model on which we create that entire application, but I know much more semantic web analysis work need to be done here. Thank you very much.